Welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. I'm going to stare right at the camera, not to throw people off. Even though I got you guys right down the side. This podcast can be found at allthingscomedy.com and at allthingcomedy.com. We have podcasts by a host of comedians. I'm going to read a list of the comics who have podcasts on the website. Some stranger named Bill Burr. He has the Monday Morning podcast, Self-Help podcast with Kelsey Cook, Taylor Tomlinson, and is that Delaney Fisher? Yeah. Doug Stanhope, he's a pretty amazing comic.
Yep.
I don't even know if Doug Stanhope is underrated. I don't know if that's the thing, but he's just one of the best ever, just period, hands down.
He sells out arenas over here.
He does? Yeah, he's fucking amazing, man.
Plus the parties I've heard, because from a friend of mine who attends them, the parties he throws with Johnny Depp are legendary.
Yeah, they're not gonna
parties together, and they're legendary. Yes.
Yeah, those parties are not going to be happening right now.
Yeah,
so let's just stick to the safety of the podcast. Danish and O'Neill, Kate Quigley, date fails. Oh, Sean Patton, and 5 words with Sean Patton and Caitlin Cook. I think that says Caitlin Cook, yeah. And just, go to the website. Late great Brody Stevens, Tom Papa, John Reap, Dean Del Rey, the homie, Devil's Advocate by Rosebud Baker. Just go there, man. They've got tons of other podcasts by other comics.
Steve Simone.
Yeah, a lot of them I didn't name. Steve Simone, yeah. So go check that out. The podcast is also sponsored by onthevalleyapparel.com, but I feel a way about promoting like merch at this time, so we're going to skip that. We all know what time it is. It's the world is being hit by the coronavirus. All sports has been canceled, so people are doing Zoom podcasts to stay safe. And Martin, just wait. I'm going to introduce you, bro.
No, I said that also, of course, is canceled. Yeah.
So I know, but we're going to get to that. And then, so we got Martin Harris, who's graciously doing the podcast from the safety of his living room. He's a writer for 442 magazine. He's also a comic and an actor. You've seen him in a bunch of movies. In a movie right out now called The Hunt. And also we have a guest. He's been a guest on the podcast before. He's a comic from England, Lee Hudson, and he's been involved in soccer in his entire life. He's still involved in it now. And Lee is a Southampton fan. So what's up, everybody?
Hey.
I guess, so Martin, what were you saying?
Yeah, let's cut to the chase. There is one raisin on the top of the cake that is a Belarusian league that became suddenly the most popular league in the world, because that's the only country in the entire world that don't care about coronavirus. They keep playing, the fans keep coming. The games were just purchased by Russian TV, so they're shown on Russian TV, and some other countries are started showing Belarusian league because that's the only league playing. So,
yeah.
So
even India bought it.
Yeah, so they behave like nothing, that like nothing happened, like the world is still the same world, that they pretty much completely ignore the coronavirus. And
where is Belarus exactly?
It's next between Poland and Russia. It's on the it's like there's a lot of Polish minority there because it used to be historically part of Poland before World War II. So it's sandwiched between Russia, Ukraine, and Poland.
Aren't you glad it's not a part of Poland now?
Pretty glad, yes.
Yeah. So have they had any cases at all?
It's a very totalitarian country. Like I personally, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I don't 100% trust all the data coming from those type of countries, including China, unfortunately. So
you don't what? Say that again?
I don't trust the official data, because those are like
right.
very. It's a dictatorship. It's It's all news is controlled by the state.
Right.
So official data is whatever the government wants to tell you, pretty much. It used to be like that in Poland.
And Lee, 1 second, let me grab something. I want to ask you, what is the impact of the Belarus League in England? Just 1 second, let me grab something.
So yeah, so this is a pretty bizarre situation where I even have friends of mine that are pretty bored sports writers that are now
Made this
writing about
tea and
Belarusian
just been
league and
sitting there.
they're showing like the screen photos of watching Belarusian league, and when you see those photos with fans on the stadium supporting those teams, it seems like it seems like they don't know what's going on. It seems like they're absolutely cut out, like North Korea, cut out from the news, and they just behave like nothing is going on.
And what does it look like in England, Lee?
Yeah, like people here are like picking teams from the Belarusian league to support.
Oh,
There's
yeah?
loads of money being gambled on it right now as well.
That's funny. I mean, hopefully they don't get hit hard. It'll be amazing if they don't. I don't know how many people travel to Belarus from outside of Belarus on a yearly basis. Maybe they don't have a lot of cases. Who knows? But if one thing comes out of this, like people are going to be more aware of the Belarus league, and maybe some of their players, if they're not contaminated, will get to come to other leagues. You know what I mean? But this is all a huge ass if, man. It's so crazy to just be playing.
Yeah, and one of the teams in Belarusian league, their best team, I think they played in the Champions League for like 6 out of last 10 years.
Oh, yeah?
Group stages, yeah.
Bate Borisov.
Oh yeah, Bate Borisov. Yeah, Bate Borisov.
Oh, sure. So at least, yeah, maybe that team would just become so popular. Maybe some of the players will become so popular, but you can't have the virus when this thing starts back. So, but
Yeah.
there's a transfer window. There's a And Lee, what are you hearing about like the in England, what they're gonna do with the league? Because I think as more time goes on, as they keep pushing the date to when the world will get back to normal, I think things keep changing. And I hear there's like meetings of like the boards and stuff like that. So what do you hear?
Yeah, I don't really know. Like basically any football below the 5th division, they've put a motion out to like cancel the league. Basically, like the season's void. So that's all the semi-professional and amateur stuff has been completely voided. So everyone stays in the divisions they're in, but there's still no real decisions on above that. What will happen in the professional leagues? I did hear the Premier League were talking about maybe finishing the season behind closed doors, like all at one central location.
Oh yeah.
So all the players stay in like hotels, like
right.
like no outside contact really. But I don't know how
Isolated.
workable that is.
Yeah, isolated from their families. They don't see them. Yeah.
Let me just say something, because the same idea was brought by executives from a Polish team, and it faced a lot of criticism. I think well deserved. That's just my opinion. I think this is a very, very dangerous game they're trying to play. Of course, I understand the economics of it. Pretty much that's why they want to finish the season, because they want to save at least a little bit of money, because it's already affecting football clubs. Last night, a team that I remember playing Chelsea in the Champions League, former Slovakian champions, Žilina, bankrupted. They're gone. The team dismantled. All players were set free. You can do whatever you want, and the club ceased to exist. And just a couple of years ago, they played Chelsea in the Champions League. I remember that very well. So,
what league is that team in again?
Slovakia.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's a very, very, very dangerous trend. Even the president of Polish Federation said that it's possible the next season will start instead of 18, 12 teams, because the teams are now stuck legal-wise with contracts. A lot of players don't want any pay cuts. You see that in Barcelona they will, but in the smaller teams, in smaller leagues, they don't, and right. It creates a lot of legal problems. And I think we'll see a lot of bankruptcies. So some clubs.
Martin just memorizes all the doom and gloom.
No, it's not doom and gloom. It's the reality.
I know. You're just hilarious. You just let's like on some good news. Well, Barcelona, Lionel Messi, and the players, and a few players from other teams from other leagues said they like this is a 70% pay cut they're going to take, and it's to help the club, and they want to make sure the people who work for the club, like the workers, get paid. So this is just great, and I also wonder, like I heard like I don't know if you heard anything, Lee, about in Italy, like maybe Juventus doing the same thing, kind of.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
That's what they do. What's their thing?
They've taken a cut as well. I don't know how much, but they've done it too.
80 million euros in salary.
There's meetings in the Premier League at the moment about the clubs all announcing something together, but they've not come to any agreement yet.
And they will. And they will. But let me tell you this. Yes, but those are very rich people already, So, yeah, I understand. I appreciate their gesture, and it's great. It's great for football that the richest ones are doing those gestures. But football is also lower leagues. Football is also
massively.
They have to pay their rent, that they have to pay for school for the kids, So those teams will go down. I know that Barcelona will not bankrupt, and Liverpool will not bankrupt. Manchester United will not bankrupt. Tottenham will not bankrupt. But what about teams from third division? What about teams like in Slovakia, Turkey? Some teams were already over-investing. Some of those transfer fees were pretty ridiculous. A lot of clubs in different leagues were living above the income they were getting because they were kind of counting on future benefits. And when a situation like that happens, they're in big, big trouble. So I personally think that it will be the biggest problem in the soccer world in the next upcoming months. We'll see a lot of clubs just ceasing to exist, unfortunately.
But Martin, that's just life. You know what I mean? Let me just answer. You spoke for a long time. That's just life. There's people in real life dealing with that. Like their jobs after this won't even exist. And so people are going to have to, everybody's just going to have to readjust, not just soccer clubs. Some of the soccer clubs will come back. Some of the people from regular, normal life will figure something out and come back, and some won't. You know what I mean? We're all going to have to figure some shit out. Like after this, right? Say everything can resume. Everybody's not going to have the money or the cash flow that they had before. So as a comic, people aren't going to be able to like come see live comedy. They'll probably afford to see it the way. So that's going to affect us. You know what I mean? Like it's just, this is a whole world issue, so it's just is what it is, and we all have to figure it out.
Yeah, but we also have to acknowledge that this is the new economics of soccer, and there's a lot of changing pieces, moving pieces right now, with different leagues trying to negotiate with agents. For example, I know for a fact, because I talked to several people, that MLS is paying 100% of salaries.
That's good.
And MLS is probably on, it's not on the financial level of Premier League, but MLS is probably the most healthy financial league in the world. It is.
That's nice.
And I know that because I spoke to an agent that has 3 Polish players in MLS, they're paying 100%. So they're paying their salaries so far.
Right. And Lee, what's the biggest thing in football going on or not going on right now in England?
Probably Jack Grealish. A lot of talk about his incident today or last night.
So when did it happen? So first, when did he make the video?
I think Saturday night, and then he was drinking Saturday night, and then his car got found Sunday morning.
Right. So when did he make the video saying everybody please stay inside?
24 hours before that.
So he made a video telling everybody to please stay inside. And then 24 hours later, he drives over to a friend's house and for like 4 a.m, apparently maybe was drinking because he crashed his car and then left it. And
he hit like 3 parked cars and then just left.
And just
on
left.
Foot. Yeah. Left his car there.
And just left his car there. And then he apologized. He's apologized. I saw the apology video. So what do you think should be done, or what's the repercussions like?
The club have already fined him.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, can't ban him from anything at the moment. There's no football to ban him from. It depends whether or not the police are investigating it. So it depends whether he was found to be like drink driving or anything like that. But I don't know if it'll be too late.
Right.
After the incident to prove anything.
You think
it'll probably go away pretty quickly?
Think so? Yeah, because they're not hitting this story hard in England, are they?
It's the top news today, but that's because there's nothing else.
Right. And I spoke to my friend. He's a Villa fan for life, and he was like, "This is going to hurt Grealish's chances of getting into the England setup because he feels like Southgate does not like him because Southgate never put him in it before, and hasn't looked at him So this might hurt Grealish's chances then. And then I watched some like podcast where they was talking about, you know, it might hurt his chances to go to Man U, because we're trying to get like a bunch of young people who are disciplined, who are following Solskjaer's rules and plan and not going to do anything to disrupt the club from the outside. So this might affect that. So
he's probably got time on his side though, because it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, we might not have football for quite a few months, so enough time might have passed that people will look past that. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'll take him to the Spurs. I'll take him. I think he's a very good player. I'll take him.
Sure. Speaking of taking him to the Spurs, Martin, let me show you this story.
Sure.
Let me show you this story. All
Who's
right.
the Grim Reaper? I can.
Yeah. I'm a Grim Reaper when it comes to bad Spurs news. Harry Kane, Tottenham striker, stupid not to leave for Man City or Liverpool. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Chris Sutton's opinion. The last time I saw Chris Sutton was in Warsaw, 1995, when his Blackburn lost to Legia Warsaw and got eliminated from group stages of the Champions League. So that's my recent memory of Chris Sutton. Him and Alan Shearer were playing in the as two forwards for Blackburn Rovers, and small Legia Warsaw kicked them out from the Champions League. I mean, Chris Sutton can. I guess this is challenging times also for media people in soccer, because they have to make stuff up. Because there's nothing to talk about. But it's just his opinion. It makes no sense. I mean, first of all, I think there'll be much less money movement between clubs this summer, because
they made less.
And I've heard it also from other analysts, but more like a financial analyst of situation in football. Mm-hmm. It's very possible that the world we remember where there were transfers for 100 million euros is gone forever. I mean, that this
forever?
Forever. That will go back to 20, 30, maybe 35, 40 million transfer fees, but not 100 and 200. This is over, yes.
You know what's crazy? Because Ronaldo was sold for like 100 million, like
2009, yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years before the next player was. You know what I mean?
Him and Kaká, both of them.
Yeah, him and Kaká, they went to Real Madrid. But like there was such a lag in between any movement like that or any prices like that happening. And then, you know, and then Neymar got the over 200 million move. And then that kind of brought prices up. But I agree. So then even people who don't deserve, you know, are to be sold for like over 100 are. So I don't mind it coming back down.
Dembele was 100, I think, to Barcelona from Dortmund. He was like 110.
I think Dembele is worth it though. Like Dembele, have you ever seen play? Like I watch.
I think he's a very good player, but I think that what I'm trying to say, and hopefully it will go, you know, to like a more of a normal types of money. I don't think any player deserves to have a transfer fee of more than 100 million euros.
But you know, there's a stigma like to these sales. Like when you say no player deserves, the player's not getting that money. The team. No,
I'm saying it's
the
valuation.
But the way the media portrays these trades and these players being sold, it's almost like they put it in our head that the player's getting this money, the club is getting this money, and then so the player doesn't play like worth that amount. You're like, this guy is worth this much and he's not. But no, the club like did good business and got that money. So it's like there's undue pressure on players for the amount that they're sold. You know what I mean? People really like look at the salary.
It was always like that though. I remember 30 years ago, or like 25 years ago, there was this guy, very talented young Italian player, Lentini. And I think AC Milan spent like 12 million for him. He was like the most expensive guy in the Italian league. And
signing from Torino. Yeah.
And then he didn't perform, and he was under such a scrutiny because the numbers are always used to put pressure on players. Like that's your price tag that you're carrying. The same with Pogba. I mean, if Pogba was brought back for free, just for big wages, but for free, if he signed with United as a free agent, so to speak, he would never face the sort of scrutiny he was facing just because of the price tag, because it was over 100 million euros, you know. So it was always used as a form of as a form of putting pressure on players, you know.
Right. But there's two things. I want to say something about Pogba. So just remind me to say that. And Lee, I want you to say, but you're saying like Chris Sutton is just talking. But I've seen several quotes from Kane saying he would leave Spurs if Spurs do not progress because he wants to win trophies. And when you look at this dude, you see how serious he is about his football career. And that's all. He's such a professional. Like, he cares about it so much. He trains. He scored 136 goals in less than 200 appearances for Spurs. And he wants to play for England. Like, he's very progressive career-wise. You know what I mean? And he wants this thing and this aura about him so that he can continue his life after football. You know, when you look at somebody and you could see where their future or where they want to go, that's what I see when I see Kane. So you can't, like, ignore this.
No, I don't ignore it. But, you know, it goes both ways. I think our team and your team, you know, we're in a situation that we have to win trophies. You know, we have to win trophies to attract top-level talent. And in this particular case, is maybe like, you know, Rashford can be that for United. You know, he's a homegrown player. So it's more difficult to leave a club that you have in your heart. But if we don't deliver any trophies within the next 2 years, yeah, it will be a case. Although I would say there's a very limited number of clubs that he can go to potentially as an upgrade, like a clear upgrade. You know, Real Madrid is one of them, for example.
That's all you need.
Real Madrid comes and asks and puts money on the table. I can see him going there, sure.
But that's one of the trade rumors.
Yeah, no, I see him going to Madrid for sure. He's a perfect fit there. He's a perfect fit in Madrid, yeah. I see that. I see that it's as a possibility. Because Madrid are buying from everybody, you know, like there's no one team except of Barcelona in the entire world that Real Madrid can buy a player from. They can buy a player from City, they can buy a player from you guys, from us, they can buy from PSG, Inter Milan, Juventus, yeah, they can. That's Real Madrid.
What are you hearing about this, Lee, in England?
There's not been too much talk of it, and to be honest, most people here don't take Chris Sutton that seriously. He's a bit of a joke. He's like a troll kind of pundit.
Oh, okay.
He's always saying something outrageous to try and get a reaction from people.
Right.
He's not seen as that credible. So, it's a small story, but there's not much else there. But I would agree that if they do sell him, they probably want to sell him to one of the Spanish clubs rather than to a Premier League rival. It makes sense.
And I guess I'll ask you this after, but I'm not even trying to defend. What am I trying to say? So people are like, as far as Bruno Fernandes, like I wanted him at the club and he's at the club and he's doing great. And people are saying, I'm seeing all these articles like Bruno Fernandes is doing what Pogba couldn't do for United. And it's like the media is always writing something antagonistic, you know what I mean? And it's like, listen, first, one thing, and then they're talking about Ollie's, like, he's been at the job 1 year and people have been giving him grades. And so he's been getting decent grades. I think the lowest grade he got was 7 for like being a year at the club and the direction that he's brought the club in. And I like Ollie and I want him to stay for sure. Like I see what he's doing. I've said that on podcasts before. But also in defense of Pogba, when people say Bruno Fernandes is doing what Pogba couldn't do. Bruno Fernandes came to the club at a time when he can play in the position that is best for him. You know what I mean? Like he's playing 10-ish, you know what I'm saying? Which is where Pogba wanted to play, but they never let him play. So Bruno Fernandes like came when there's Matic, McTominay, like and Fred are like playing good. And then, you know, like Pogba came when he had to be back and was held back by Mourinho to a certain extent, attacking wise. And then, you know, so you can't like I don't like when you shit on Pogba to just make a story, or because I don't want to lose a player that might stay, you know what I mean? Or if we sell him, this is just killing the value of him if we sell him. So it's just I just want to like whoever's saying this is not making complete sense or looking at this 100% rationally.
The media do love to give Pogba a kick in here.
Yeah. And
Fernandes was in news too last couple of days, and actually I like that. I like that story. Bruno Fernandes, he was in news for the last couple of days because apparently when he was leaving Sporting Lisbona in the last couple of months of him being there, he was extremely frustrated with players showing lack of ambition, saying something like that they only want to make their money. They don't care about winning. They don't care about progressing. They don't care about sporting, moving in the better direction. So he was like calling his teammates out on right. Not working hard enough, and I like that.
I like that.
That's a good quality.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, when I used to watch the clips of him at what was it? Is it Sporting?
Yeah, Sporting. Yeah.
And like it wasn't just the goals. It was what he was doing to get the goals, how he acted after the goals, and I'm like, oh, you want this on our team. And I said it on other podcasts before. Like, I don't know if the Portuguese league always translates to here, but what this emotion, this passion definitely translates to the Premiership. So he's definitely going to have a good impact on Man U, and he has. And it's the same thing. It falls in line with like that story that you heard about him like shitting on the players who were passionless. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I want to see him play with Pogba as well. I want to see the two of them in the same team.
Yeah. Where would you put him, Lee?
Where would you put Fernandes deeper to start, be like a playmaker, getting the ball off the defense, and have Pogba higher up.
Right. No, I would switch them back and forth. I'm like, you guys intuitively, let's practice Pogba 10, Fernando back, and then you switch. Because to be honest, I don't.
You have to have a holder like Fred or McTominay in there with them doing the defensive work.
Yeah, because I don't always trust Pogba defensively. Let me just be honest about that. Like, his passion for defense might not be there, but if he gets some offense going, he might be more passionate defensively. Because for France, he held his line, and he was good defensively, and he knew when to go forward, and he went forward, right? So I would like mix them. Martin?
I like where Fernandes is right now. I wouldn't move him from that spot. I think that's a perfect spot for him. I will work Pogba in around Fernandes, but I have a feeling that we'll not see Pogba in Man U jersey anymore. I have a feeling that he will leave once before we play another game. And it's not. I'm not trying to stir anything here. I just think that in his head he moved on. I just think that's what.
No, he just was on with Lingard, and he said, "Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay safe."
We'll move on too, but
yeah. Lingard's out. I'm not gonna fight you on Lingard. But he just was on Skype with Lingard, and he's like, "Everybody stay safe, and I promise you, when the league resumes, we'll win you some trophies." Here's my thing with Pogba. Like, it's not all good. Like, right now, I think Pogba he's kind of like, in the sense, like, he wants to win some shit. And I think there's a moment where he gave up on Man U getting their shit together to win some shit. So he definitely wanted to be out. And he had a bad time with Mourinho, and he had a bad time with the fans. So he's like, hey, I want to be out, right? And he kind of has held us hostage. But I do think he's seen that things has turned around. And then he's like, oh. And then the even before the coronavirus, he's like, I'm in they call it a golden cage. I got this term from other places where the teams that could buy him already are kind of priced out because they bought a lot of players. So then he's like, well, Man U's getting better. I can't go to that team, and I can't go to this other team. So the best thing for me to do might be to stay here now. So I think, but also, I don't know if I want that type of mentality on the team. But also, I can't blame him for having that mentality when everybody was shitting on the Man U as an organization as a whole, period.
Okay, so here's what I know from a friend that is good friends with Pogba.
Is he Polish?
No, he's actually Italian French. Uh-huh. So they're like close friends. He's a kind of a model. He works as a model. He's a model. He's
a model.
He's a model. Yeah, my friend of mine. He works on in Europe, but he also works in LA.
Is it he or a she?
No, it's a he. It's a guy. But he's close friends with Pogba. Pogba comes to LA. They always spend time together. So what I know about Pogba, and I didn't talk to this guy recently, but I've heard about him saying stuff about Pogba. Pogba is kind of a flamboyant guy, and sometimes it's not even about the club and the team, it's about the lifestyle in the city, so he's not necessarily very happy in Manchester as a city. And some of those players, including Di Maria, for example, they just want to be, in Madrid. They just want to be in sunny places with fashion shows and stuff. It's sometimes it's a lifestyle choice as well. Most of the time it isn't with the players. They want to play in the best possible situation for a great club. But sometimes it is. And I've heard this story, and I'm curious your comment, guys, about Di Maria, that he apparently has panic attacks whenever he sees Man U on TV, and he almost got in a fight with someone when they put Man U game on.
I haven't heard that. Have you heard that, Lee?
I've heard he hates Manchester and Man United, yeah.
Yeah, I heard he hates Van Gaal. He didn't like Van Gaal. He thinks Van Gaal ruined a year of his career and shit. And I heard he hates Van Gaal, but who knows? So how is England now? It feels like it took a long time for you guys to lock down and take the coronavirus seriously. Have you guys taken it seriously now, and what changed that? And when did that change?
It's last Monday was when they properly put the measures in place to stop people from moving around too much and things like that. But our government had no plan. I don't think at first they were talking about letting people catch it and
what?
Like herd immunity stuff and all sorts of rubbish. And then they've just been reactive and slow. And now the Prime Minister has it.
Is it that why they're reacting, because now the Prime Minister have it, or was it a little bit before?
Oh no, they did a week before. But I've been pretty much indoors for 2 weeks now.
Oh yeah.
I did my own research, and you could see what was coming, so I just did it early.
Right. Oh, that's good. And so what's your lockdown like? What's the official lockdown like? Because ours still kind of feels loose, like there's some states that are more of a lockdown, or what do they call it? Like a shelter in place than others. Like I just spoke to a guy yesterday in the Midwest, and he's still going to meetings. They're not taking it seriously there. And so what's it like there? How strict are you guys?
They say you should only exercise near your house. You can't drive somewhere to exercise. Any non-essential job you can't go to. It's pretty strict. Like police will give fines to people who are traveling unnecessarily and stuff now.
Oh, okay.
But that's only been in for like a week.
Right. So when you go outside and look out there, there's just nothing going on?
Oh yes, it's pretty quiet. Yeah,
it's pretty quiet. And then do you have all your groceries?
It's taken a while to get to that. Yeah.
Right. And how long do they say? Sorry, how? I guess there's a delay. How long do they say? What is the position that they're in now? How long do they say it's going to last?
Until further notice. There's lots of speculation. You read some stuff saying 6 months. You see some stuff saying a year. You see some stuff saying 2 months. No one really knows. I think they just got to monitor it. It's hard to predict exactly.
Right. Yeah. And Martin, is there any change in Poland?
Change in what way?
You guys are locked down, right?
Oh, completely locked down. I'll give you two different examples right now, because I did study that a little bit, also from a football perspective. Because one MLS agent lives in Kuwait. That's one perspective. He lives in Kuwait, and they went on lockdown early February after the first case.
Oh shit!
They were already screening people. They're already testing everyone, and they blocked the borders. And right now, they have a police hour between 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. I think, or 7 a.m. where you can't leave the apartment at all. Whoever is out goes either to jail or is being deported if he is not a citizen of Kuwait. Automatically.
This is Kuwait?
You have to be, in Kuwait. That's what they do, and they don't have almost any cases, because of that. So it's illegal to even step outside of your apartment between 5 p.m. and at 7 a.m. Where in Sweden, which is the polar opposite, they even play friendly games, by the way, in Sweden right now. In Sweden, you can do whatever you want. that the government said it's your decision.
Oh yeah, Sweden. There's people. Schools are still going.
Yep.
All that shit. Yeah.
Bars, everything, nightclubs. It's like they're like, and they were always like ultra liberal in a way that they don't want to control people. They're like, do what you want. It's recommended to stay home, but we can't tell you what to do. If you want to go party, party. That's Sweden.
I'm gonna put you guys onto this story. Share this screen. I've just been like, this football. It's like we're looking for scraps of of football information. So, what do you think about Karim Benzema saying he's a Formula One car and Giroud is a go-kart? Did you hear about this? Karim Benzema was being interviewed.
It's a little bit harsh.
So what?
It's a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Giroud's a very functional striker. He does a job for the team.
Right.
Yeah, but also look from the other perspective. I don't think Benzema is a Formula One, or even if he's a Formula One, he's not a Ferrari. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's funny. Like, I felt like earlier on in his career, you know how in people's career their career changes, and I felt like earlier on Giroud would score a lot, and he would do the things like almost like a Formula One car forward would do, and then like 1 year or 1.5 seasons, the way football looked at him and the way he was positioned on the field and played or considered just changed. Do you guys feel that? Like the way we look at Giroud now, I don't think it was the way we always looked at Giroud. Or was it just me? I'm crazy.
Well, I think Giroud. Listen, like he was great against us in the last game we played. So unfortunately, he's a good striker. He's just not very fast, so he can only play as a target man. He's a very good finisher, but yeah, I mean, in terms of speed, he's definitely not a Formula One because he doesn't run fast. But neither does Benzema. I would say, and Benzema, I mean, he has a kind of a history of throwing his teammates under the bus. That's why he was out of the French team,
right?
And they won the World Cup. It's not because he wasn't good enough. He's just not a very good teammate.
Right.
I would say
he was bribing Valbuena, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a little bit too big of a mouth. I know he won trophies with Real Madrid, but I never considered him a top 5 striker in the world. Never. I don't think he's at the level of Lewandowski. Those guys, no.
Right. Yeah, he's behind that level, and Lewandowski's behind Messi and Ronaldo, and then there's the Lewandowski level, and then there's the Benzema level.
Yeah.
And then I guess Benzema saying Giroud is still not on his level.
Well, because Giroud won the World Cup. I mean, he took technically his spot on the World Cup team, so he's probably bitter and jealous that Giroud will end his career as a world champion and Benzema will not.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
Nothing and nobody can take it away from Giroud that he is the World Cup winner. He is.
How many Benzema got? Well, like 4 Champions League and like 2 like La Liga titles and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would you rather have? 4? I think Benzema might have 5 Champions League titles, but let's say 4, right? Would you have 4 Champions League titles, or just 1 World Cup? And
one World Cup. World Cup tops everything for me.
Yeah, and I think Giroud might have he has a Euros too, right? Oh, then the Euros was coming up. Yeah, they don't have the Euros yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. World Cup's the pinnacle, really.
World Cup's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
All right.
People remember that more than they do Champions League winners.
All right.
It's more of a historic moment. If you've got that, it's the ultimate.
So is that still the same case in the case of Messi and Ronaldo?
There's more of a individual achievements than collective achievements.
Or is that the case in the case of a player who's a go-kart? You know what I mean? Because there are World Cup winners I'll forget, but I'll never forget Messi or Ronaldo.
Well, here's the biggest argument where people think, and I'm one of these people, and I know that this is where we disagree. One of the main arguments why Maradona is historically better player than Messi is that he won the World Cup and he led Argentina to the World Cup. And he did it in such a way, in such a fashion like nobody else before and after him, where he handily carried the team to winning the World Cup. And I think still the World Cup tops everything. It's like NBA championship for me, in basketball. It's big.
Here's an argument for that, though. What about someone like Cruyff, who didn't win a World Cup, but arguably shaped modern football and shaped the game?
I'm a huge fan of Cruyff. Huge. For me, it's top 10, 100%, no doubt. Maybe top 5 ever. Probably top 5 ever.
Let me ask you a question. So I saw somebody do a list of the top 10, like somebody did like the all-time Barcelona team, right? And Xavi was on there, Cruyff was on there, and Iniesta was not on there. And I just don't. Sometimes my fear, because he was one of my favorite players, is that people don't get how good Iniesta was. To me, he's as good as Zidane, he's as good as Xavi, and as good as Cruyff, but he's just like understated. You know what I mean? And he's won everything. He even scored the goal that won the World Cup for Spain when they needed it in overtime. Like, where is this guy to you guys?
I think if you saw his final game for Barcelona, he's very, very much held in high regard there. Like, they went all out for his final game.
Right.
And him and Xavi, I think they just complement each other really well as well. I was at the Champions League final in 2011 at Wembley, the Man United Barca one, and the two of them were just unreal together. The whole team, that was the best Barcelona team I've seen, in my opinion.
Right. And it's like, it's proof. I feel like the fact that him and Xavi aren't there, right, and Barca is not doing so great, it's just like, it proves how good those two were. And then even after Xavi left, Barca still won some shit. You know what I mean? But I just feel like outside of Barcelona, this guy, like when people say all-time greats, they're not going to say him. I don't think Xavi was better than him either. I think
they complement each other. They were slightly different players. They played in sort of central midfield areas, but like Iniesta was left-footed as well. They were slightly different players, but I think they worked really well together. They made each other better.
Right. Like Busquets was on the list and Iniesta wasn't.
Well, if they can only pick a certain amount of attacking midfielders, Busquets was different. He had to be in the team to do a different role.
Yeah, he played his position, and it's a positional thing. But I still think Iniesta, like both of them. Like listen, man. I think people don't understand how hard. Like they're flair players, but people don't understand how hard of a workers they were, coming back, winning balls, and then restarting attacks. It's just for like, it's rare when flair players work as hard as like a good task. Is a good what's his name? Good for the Italian dude from AC Milan, Gattuso. Yeah, I knew I was close.
Former coach.
Yeah. And played longer than him, but just worked as hard in the midfield to win shit back. Yeah. Martin, is there anything in football that we missed that you want to?
No, I agree with you. And we talked about it because we went to see LAFC versus Vissel Kobe a year ago exactly. And we went to together to the press conference with Iniesta. And I saw how it was a big deal for you when he walked like almost touching your knee when he walked by, that you really are a fan of the guy. And I am too. I think he was very, very underappreciated superstar. He won the world. He scored a game that he scored a golden goal for Spain when they won the only World Cup they ever won.
Right.
And he will be immortalized for that. I mean, he's the example of someone who won on every single level, and I think that is
everything
crucial for his legacy.
Yeah, everything. He's won everything. Yeah. And he's not on the Barcelona's top 11. He's not in that team. Like, even if you have to listen, was Kroff? So we brought up Kroff, and I think that's Kroff that's led us to this. Is Kroff, and Kroff was great, but is he great because of how he played, or does the coaching and how he revolutionized football after he was a player, does that make people feel he's better than he was? Or are we just talking? Yeah.
No, I think it's two different things. As a player, he was absolutely brilliant and one of the best ever.
Right.
He went to 2 World Cup finals with a team that was a very good team, but I wouldn't say it was like a favorite to win the World Cup. And he was clearly instrumental in every aspect of it. And then he changed football from the coaching perspective. So in terms of a total package, both in terms of like, if you combine 2 careers, playing career and coaching career into one, he's probably best ever. If you combine both careers, you know, because very few players were very good coaches and became very good coaches, you know, but at that level, to be elite player, one of the greatest ever, and then one of the greatest ever coaches, I think he's the only one who did that.
Right. I mean, I love Kroff. I'm not shitting on Kroff. I can't remember the other name that they put in, that they could have put in on that list. They put in a name on that list that I think Iniesta should have been in front of. I should look it up, but I can't. I'll look it up while I talk to you guys. Another thing I want to say is, like, there's so many trade rumors that I'm getting, like, and everybody's linked to Man U. Why is that? Like Aubameyang, Harry Kane, 2 players from Atletico Madrid, Jordan Sancho, Bellingham from the Championship, Calvin, another guy from Leeds. It's like, is there anybody linked to any other teams besides Man U going on out there?
Man U sells you, and now there's no football being played, so the newspapers have to sell. There's I listen, you know, a lot of my friends are in the media business, and they're scared, they're terrified. A lot of newspapers and media outlets, like traditional media outlets, will not survive the crisis. So, you know, there will be a lot of fake news out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if there's a transfer rumor with Man United on it, it gets clicks. So.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, but you can put other teams in there. Like, there's a rumor of Pogba to Juventus for Dybala and Perisic. It's just so, like, are you hearing those rumors over there, Lee?
Yeah, there's loads of them. If you click on the gossip columns, like transfer gossip columns, there's loads. I don't read them too much.
Me neither. They just keep coming up. I'm actually looking at this list, and he's on it. So thank God. But yeah. So now that there's no football, what are you guys watching for football? Like, I just watched like the World Cup 2014, like the documentary on YouTube. So what are you guys watching to replace your vitamin supplement of football?
Mixture of things, really. There's been a lot of old stuff being replayed. They're going to replay Euro 96 here,
right?
Next month, which would be pretty cool. I even watched. There's on the MLS. I've been doing some classic games on theirs, and they replayed the playoff game between Toronto and Montreal, which was crazy. I was living in Toronto at the time, and I went to the playoff final that year. But that was a crazy game. So yeah, I think all the social media channels and stuff they're finding content now to put out and give people their football fix.
Yeah, there's been games on Man U TV, not Man U, on the Man U app. Like, they played like full games. You could watch them on there. Martin, what are you watching?
I was watching some documentaries, and I listened to a lot of podcasts actually. And Belarusian League, of course.
How are you getting the Belarusian League?
You can get it online.
Like, well, you don't want to give out the site, or tell me after. Write it in the chat.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I'll check out the Belarusian League. What days are they playing?
Weekends, like everybody, like every should, you know.
You just missed the big derby at the weekend, though.
Oh, for real? I wouldn't even have known it was a derby. I don't know who's who.
FC Minsk versus Dynamo Minsk.
Oh, oh yeah, maybe I would have figured that out. Who won?
FC Minsk won 3-2.
Oh shit, that's a derby score right there. How are the games? Are they good?
They're okay.
They're okay.
They're not the best.
Championship level?
No comparison.
It's hilarious. I guess we don't have to do this thing long. So I won't force it. Let me just check if there's anything else that I want to.
Well, let me just tell you this, because I spoke this morning, and thank you, LAFC, for that, for arranging that. I spoke to Bob Bradley this morning on the phone, and I asked him, beside the other stuff.
Oh yeah.
I asked him what is he doing? Like, what's his process? How is he, quarantining?
Okay.
He says that the most important thing right now, and I believe every good coach, and I consider Bob Bradley a good coach, very good coach. Every good coach does that in a way. So that kind of shows you the perspective, like what are they doing? So he's checking with players on a regular basis.
Right.
So, FaceTiming with them, checking up with them, how they're doing, how they're processing, because listen, people go through this stuff. Like a friend of mine, he's a Turkish reporter here in LA. He's now in Turkey, and his mom is in hospital with coronavirus. And so people are processed. People are dealing with that stuff too in a different ways.
Right.
So he's making sure that his staff and players are fine, and he's also watching a lot of training sessions, making adjustments, planning new exercises, watching games, trying to figure out that the tactical adjustments for future. They don't stop working. What I'm trying to say, the coaches are still working.
Right. It's just like a long film room session for them this break.
Yeah. Coming with ideas, like the ideas they're creating right now, they'll try to implement them once the work resumes on the field.
Right.
Hopefully Mourinho is doing the same thing. Jose, if you're listening, go to your drawing board ASAP.
Hilarious. Lee, who do you say the season continues, right? Who do you think at the top of the league will benefit from the break, and why? And it's just or just in the league period. Like, how do you think Southampton will deal with this break?
It's hard to tell, really, because we were so inconsistent before it. We would be great for a couple of games and we'd be terrible for a couple of games. So I have no idea what sort of shape we'd come back in. Liverpool, you've got to fear, it might hurt the momentum, but they're too far ahead. If the league did resume, they're too far ahead, I think, for anything to happen anyway. So I don't think too much would change.
Right. And what do you think about Solskjaer's job so far? He's been at the job, today will be a year and 2 days. What do you think?
The last few months have shown an improvement. So,
right.
Yeah, he deserves another full season, I think.
Yeah.
Unless things start to go really bad when football comes back.
Right. I think the grades are a little overboard, because I look at the points. I think we have 48 points. Let me go find this thing. We have 48 points, right? Let me find this whole thing. So if this was a regular season, well, it is a regular season, but where's this thing?
You can click on tables in the black bar there.
This one? Can you see? They're right there. So we have, can't see it because your face is 48 points. That's not a lot of points, man. We're fifth. Well, we have 45 points. And we're fifth. But on any average year, that's not, that's just, the 40 points was when you knew you weren't going to get regulated. You know what I mean? And we have 45 with 9 games left. So
what do you think you would have finished on?
Listen, even if we win, there's 9 games left. 9 times 3 is what? So I'll take my calculator out.
27 points.
27. Add 27 to 45. How much is
70,
that?
72.
Have teams won the league with 72 points?
Nope.
It's a decent total. I'm not mad at it, but
you're not gonna win 9 games. You're not gonna win the Spurs. Well, first of all, I don't think they'll play any games anymore. I think the season is done. I do, really do. I don't think
You do?
Yeah, I think so.
It might be the more this pushes on. What do you want to happen, Lee?
I mean, it'd be funny if they did void it and Liverpool didn't get the title.
That's what's going to happen, I assume. I really do.
That is too stone cold, bro. That would just break them. There's no way they can do that, and I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because no one knows how long this is going to last, so it's hard for them to come up with a solution.
I know Liverpool fans are unbearable, but this is you don't want to make them suicidal. You don't want suicide. Yeah.
But I don't think you can just stop it and give it to them as well.
You don't?
Because then what do you do about the relegation and other things?
Well, the plan that Martin said they've been talking about was just nobody goes down. You just add 2 teams from below. And, because like I said it last week, listen, nobody's going to be happy anyway. Like whatever decision you make, but this is life, and this is what it is. And so you just...
Oh, yeah, there's no solution that'll make all teams happy.
Yeah, we just got to accept it. You just got to, like, fuck it. This is the deal. Yeah. So, yeah. So anybody else got any points that they want to talk about or bring up? I'm just scrolling through just to make sure we covered anything.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I'm interested in your perspective on Southampton. I want to hear what you think of my Polish boy Bednarek. Do you like Bednarek?
He's been one of our most improved players, I think, over the last 2 seasons. He's really nailed down that spot now at centre back. When he first joined, he was sort of only playing certain games, but this season especially, he's been one of our more consistent players. He's been impressive. But no, the fans love him. We've always had a history with Polish players, though. We've had quite a few over the years. Raziak, Saganowski, Thomas Haito played for us for a little while as well. Kamil Kosowski as well.
Yep.
We've had...
You make all these names are making Martin smile. Anything with an Iski or Reminisce in it.
It's funny because Saganowski told me years ago that when he played in the League One with Southampton, I think you guys had at the time Lallana and Gareth Bale on the team in the League One.
And Schneiderlin and Font as well.
Yes.
And Ricky Lambert too. Yeah, it's great.
Ricky Lambert, yeah.
Yeah, I went to one game in League One. It was horrible to watch, and yeah, he was playing in that one. Him and Raziak were both still there. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it was But there's one game for Saganowski where we played Wolves, and he scored. He scored a hat trick in that game. I think might have even been 4, but we destroyed them. And yeah, he's. Most of those guys are still well loved by the fans here.
Yeah, that's dope.
Haito is great. He's such a character. He's a controversial figure. He was a pundit on TV, and then he stopped doing that. As a player, he was a very loud guy. He was fighting with a lot of players, but I know him very well personally. I remember he was also accused in Germany of smuggling cigarettes over the border. Yeah. So,
cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes.
Why cigarettes? Cigarettes illegal
before European Union. So. People were smuggling cigarettes from countries that were outside of European Union. Yeah, they were.
I wouldn't have stopped him there. He looked like he should be like an army general or something. Like he was a proper old school centre back.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he could hit his thing that he was his biggest, I would say, asset was that he could hit he was doing like a very long passes from defensive over the entire field to the striker. He was very good in delivering like a ball from one end of the field to the other. That was his like signature move.
It's a shame we got him at the sort of back end of his career.
Yeah.
When we were in the Championship, so we didn't quite see him at his best. I think he played 1 season and then left. But
yeah, he went to Derby after that, and then he came back to Poland, and he still had played a couple of years in Poland. But at his best, he was at Schalke when they were the second best team in Bundesliga behind Bayern. Him and Tomasz Waldo were 2 Polish center backs. And they almost won the league. It's one of the greatest stories of modern football, where there were 2 games happening at the same time. Schalke played and Bayern Munich played. and Schalke was winning their game. They won the game, and they were waiting for result from Munich. And somebody said that Bayern, I think, lost, and they started celebrating winning the title. And for 3 minutes, there was a celebration on the field. And then what they didn't know is that the referee actually resumed the game in Bayern, and Patrick Anderson scored a winning goal, or scored a goal that got them the title. So in the middle of their celebration in Gelsenkirchen, and I think they have a fantastic support group from fans, and they never won the title ever. And they were about to win a title, and they were already celebrating, and then they were told the bad news that the game actually resumed, and Bayern scored, and they're not
ouch
champions.
Yeah, that's a horrible feeling.
Well, United fans know that from that season with City.
Yeah,
with the goal.
And also that happened at the Oscars too.
Yeah.
The best movie, and it went to Moonlight won, but they said something else. What was the movie they said?
La La Land.
La La Land. And then they're like, wait, hold up a second. So yeah, I would never want to be in that position.
Yeah, it was the director of La La Land who was like, hey guys, sorry, there was a mistake. We didn't win. The Moonlight won.
Yeah, it's a Steve Harvey-sized mistake. He didn't make that one, but yeah. So, guys, anything else you want to plug or talk about? Lee, when's your next show?
I had some really good shows coming up this month as well. In the next couple of months. So I had my first spot at the London Comedy Store in May. I won't be doing that now. So had a whole bunch of other good stuff lined up. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I had some good gigs. I was gonna go to Melbourne to do the festival. Was gonna go to Sydney, but life is more important. Those things are, the festivals are canceled now, and let's just get this life thing going, and then then we'll figure out how to live it again. But you can't do it if you're just I know some people are stressed for cash, but just try to live first. A comic out here, Michael Yo, just got out the hospital. He had a post this morning. He was in the hospital for 8 days. He had it, and his post. You go to his post. He says, I texted him a little bit. He was like, "Man, when you go in, they tell you, hey, you're not going to be able to see your family. So you're either going to die without them, or you're going to make it through and be able to see them." And he's just in there by yourself, and some people died around him without their families, and he made it out. So, he said, shit is real. He was still coughing a little bit, but like, that's the first instance of like knowing someone directly that I've done shows with, that had it, and Michael Yo is usually smiling on his post and trying to entertain people, but he's talking about it. There were tears coming out of his eyes and shit, and then he was touching his face with his hands again to stop the tears. I wanted to yell at the thing, don't do that, but yeah, shit is real. So be careful out there, y'all.
Yeah, even your prime minister has coronavirus, right? Boris Johnson.
He was shaking hands with coronavirus victims a week ago, right? Or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, he's an idiot.
How is he prime minister?
He's well connected.
Yeah,
he's got all the right friends, powerful family.
Well, but let me ask you this though, before we go, what's going on with Brexit? I mean, is it postponed now, or what is it?
No, they reckon they'll still look for the deadline at the end of December, which is to do all the deals, which is ludicrous because I can't see it being physically possible. But I try not to look for any logic in our government's decisions.
When did England get like this?
Well, the vote for it was 2016 for Brexit. Yeah. So, yeah.
Say that. I said, when did England get like this? Is it when they made the people vote on Brexit?
Yeah, 2016 was the vote, which, something of that magnitude should never be given to people who largely aren't educated on the possibilities. Right. And it was a straight yes or no as well. It wasn't, yes, but like this, or no, but we do this. Like, it was just straight yes or no, with no one knowing what the actual.
And I read the news
as well.
I read the news that we got some piece of England now in LA because Prince Harry and Meghan Markle moved here last week.
I thought they're going to Canada.
Yeah, but they moved from Canada here.
Yeah, I heard that
Okay.
too. Because Trump was saying, I know them, I like them, but they're going to use their own protection people. We're not providing protection for them. So
Yeah, technically not royal family anymore. So.
yeah, technically. Listen, she technically isn't, but he always is. You know what I mean? You can go back anytime. And the kids, or kid. They'll take them back. So thanks for joining us, Lee. Your food how long ago did you order dinner or groceries?
Groceries, yeah. They give you like an hour time slot. Mine was 10 to 11 p.m., which is when we started at 10. It's still not here. So, but apparently their timing's been quite erratic because they're under so much strain right now. Everyone's ordering, so
everyone's ordering. All right.
So now
come when it comes.
11:20 in London, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 8 hours because at 4 a.m. my time I have a session with a casting director in London. So 4 a.m., 4 a.m. Okay.
Good luck.
I know.
Yeah,
I did a couple of times last week. I'm just trying to, because it changes from 7 to 8 on different weeks, you know. So I'm just making sure that I'm not late.
All right, Martin. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, as you just did, and thank you for that. The Hunt is on every possible platform, including Amazon Prime, so feel free to check it out. And Black Lightning Season 3 is on Netflix. You can check that out too.
And what about you, Lee? Like I brought it up before, but anything?
No, I'm just sitting here in a hoodie and sweatpants every day until this is over.
Yeah, you look like the Grim Reaper. Like ready to put your hood on and go out and get some people. Yeah, where's your sickle at, bro? For me, just follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, and there's some funny videos there, thoughts on the coronavirus if you just want to laugh. Like I take the virus serious, but I don't take life serious. I just want to joke around and have some fun. It keeps me healthy, so it might help you. And same thing on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic, and then this podcast is on iTunes, it's on SoundCloud, it's on Spotify, it's on Libsyn, Stitcher. It's even places I don't even remember it is. It's on allthingscomedy.com. The video for this podcast, you can see it on YouTube. Go to YouTube. Like and subscribe if you want to, but definitely be safe out there. Thank y'all. Don't hang up yet, because I just want to make sure Aaron, I don't know if he's there. Aaron, are we good to go?
I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was coughing, so I'm not sure.
Aaron, let me know if we're good to go. Let me check. Let me text him.
He coughed and disappeared.